welcome to the CAGI Heartbeat Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Krim. Today we got a good one. We're talking about financial awareness. This is episode 3, entitled, How to Start a Side Hustle, Turning Your Passion into Profit. Let's get into it. A little bit about what we'll be talking about today is aligning your passion with real market needs, testing your idea on a small scale, crafting a memorable brand, handling your legal and financial basics, and marketing, pricing, and scaling. All right, first, you want to identify your passion and market demand. You need to pinpoint and balance what you love and what people will actually pay for. You can use customer surveys or quick polls to see if your passion is actually realistic and has real demand out here. A lot of people will hop in their side hustles and they're like, okay, I just want to sell something. I don't know what it is. But it's important to find out what you are passionate about, because this thing is the long run. You're going to be in it for the long haul. And the motivation to keep going on things that you're not passionate about is going to fizzle out and make the process not as enjoyable. So you want to make sure you find something that you truly love and that you're passionate about. And then on the other side of that, you want to make sure it's something that's actually in demand right now, and something that people are actually buying. You don't want to, a lot of times the things that we're passionate about, it's just that. It may be a passion, but you want to make sure other people are actually passionate about that and willing to open up their pockets to purchase whatever you're selling. All right, to validate your side hustle idea, you want to conduct little small micro tests. You might want to sell one item or do a tiny ad campaign or even join a focus group. That gets you early feedback before you go completely in on whatever it is and open up that big budget. You don't want to spend a lot of time or money on something that's just not going to work. So doing those tiny ad campaigns or just selling a small amount of whatever that item is can help you really learn how that particular item or service reacts in the market. When it comes to branding and positioning, you want to choose a catchy name and a catchy looking logo that has a clear value of what you offer. You got to remember that your brand is your first impression and it could be your last. So you want to make sure that impression looks good and that it presents the value that you're offering for your good or service. When you are building a minimum viable product, or MVP as they call in the selling world, you want to launch a simplified version first of your product or service. If that's just one service that you're offering for a package or just a single product, you want to learn what that process looks like of building up your product and building your actual customer base first before you broaden that into many different services or many different products that could become costly on the time side and the financial side for you. So those little small one services packages and single products can help to start to learn what your customer base looks like for your business. All right, let's talk about ways to market your hustle. Social media is a big one and the easiest way because it's free a lot of times. They do have AdSense that you can pay for Facebook and Google and even TikTok. But using things like your Instagram stories and Facebook groups can help to build the customer base for your business before it even gets started. You can start to build anticipation that way, or start to build anticipation for new products and services as you start to scale. If you're not into social media, it doesn't mean that you still can't create content. You can have content on your website or just blogs or short videos on YouTube to really show or encase what your product or service does. And that's how you leverage the digital market platforms to reach whatever niche you're into. When it comes to time management and balancing commitments, you want to be sure that you're carving out those power hours each week, even if it's just an hour, to work on a side project. We talked about this a little bit in the last one. You can use things like time blocking or Kanban cards, or as we discussed in the previous podcast, the Eisenhower matrix. Things like this will keep you, help you stay organized throughout the process. You need to have those hours that you work on it, because from my personal take, if you don't carve out those hours, you just keep putting it off every week. Okay, I'll get to it. You really got to be intentional about what you're doing and intentional about your time that you're putting into your side hustle if you want to make it work for real. When it comes to pricing and profitability, you want to be sure that you are setting your rates early. You want to calculate your costs. That's calculating your costs for the product itself, for the display of your product, meaning your website, the cost of your ads, if you're running ads, or the cost of doing business just in general. You want to make sure that you are really calculating those costs and honing in on them early, because they can really snowball and get away from you really quick. You also want to make sure that you are researching your competitors' pricing. Whoever is in your industry, you want to make sure that you do a market analysis of your product or service, and make sure that you are pricing within the market so that you can start to pull some of the competition, but not only that, start your own customer base to start getting your product off. You don't want to hone too much into competitor pricing, because you can kind of dive into that and start to focus on it too much. You want to make sure that you just get an overview of the industry as a whole, and then look at it that way and compare your product with that. You want to be confident and adjust as you need as you gain experience. It's going to take some experience to know exactly where a product can go and what that customer base looks like for it. Alright, overcoming challenges and staying motivated. You want to observe those common pitfalls that we all have, like losing steam, or what they call scope creep. That's where you are dragging out due dates of different things just because different things keep getting added onto it over and over again. You want to be sure that you're looking at what's distracting you, and you want to make sure that you are keeping people around you that are going to keep you on task. You could possibly join a peer group, or just have somebody that keeps you accountable as an accountability partner. This process, like I said in the beginning, is a process of motivation and discipline, but the motivation will fade, so you have to make sure that discipline stays. Alright, when planning for growth and scaling up, you gotta notice those signals that it's time to scale. It will wear you out if you continue to do a lot of things yourself. You need to know when it's time to delegate and when it's time to start outsourcing certain things that you need for continuity of business. You need to realize when it's time to automate certain mundane tasks. There are a lot of different softwares out there to help you with getting things done that you might not want to do yourself every day. So you want to make sure that you're looking for these resources, and make sure you're looking out when it's time to hire help. You may also, if you have a previous business, or you're working under a DBA, or basically association with the business, you want to make sure that you start to formalize your business structure as you scale, and make sure that you're getting different business accounts and things of that nature to separate the funds for these different products and services. So the key takeaways about getting into your side hustle: you want to make sure you are aligning your passion with real market needs, testing your ideas on a small scale, crafting a memorable brand, something that's going to stick with people and make them want to buy. You want to make sure you handle your legal and your financial basics, and you want to make sure that you stay on top of your marketing, pricing, and scaling. The one small change for this week. I need you to think about what your side hustle would be if you don't have one yet. Or what can you do to advance your side hustle if you do? And send me an email at kgheartbeatpodcast@gmail.com so we can continue this discussion. Or you can reach out to Community Action of Greater Indianapolis for support and finding resources and maintaining your momentum. You can contact us at kg-in.org or 317-396-1800. I thank you for tuning in to the KG Heartbeat Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Krim. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs it. And we'll see you right back here next week. Thank you.